I got a cave gecko. Do you understand? Do you know? Do you even understand how long I've been waiting for this to happen? A very long time. Well over a year. A very long time. And I'm just so ecstatic. Okay, let me tell you the story. So here's how it goes. Basically, I'm moving my laptop, which I was using for another video. But basically, there was a cave gecko for sale. Actually, let's go way back. There were 2 cave geckos for sale in Michigan, which is right above me. I'm on like the border of Michigan, but I'm like north central Indiana. And there's a cave gecko, 2 of them for sale right above me in Michigan. And I was like, oh my god, I have wanted a cave gecko for so long. I reached out to these people. They set a time to meet up. I went to buy one. They never showed. I reached out to them. They didn't answer. I wept. Very sad. Came home that morning, all the sadness, just, you know, really sad, but I still had hope. I was like, I'm gonna email them, I'm gonna text them, I'm gonna contact them, we're gonna set up another arrangement, probably just some sort of emergency or something happened. They said that like they had someone passed away in the family and they had to like make funeral arrangements or something, and they forgot about like the trip that they were supposed to make to give me the cave gecko. Whatever, fine, things happen, I understand. So I was like, okay, when can we meet up again? They were like, well, because of the funerals in California, I'm gonna be gone for the next 2 weeks, but then I'll reach back out to you again in 2 weeks. And I said, okay, that's fine. And 2 weeks rolls by. I reach out to this person again because they didn't reach out to me. It was like 2 weeks and 3 days, and I was like, Tik Tok, Tik Tok. So I reached out to them and I was like, hello, this is the cave gecko lady wanting the cave geckos. And they were like, oh cool, well I still have them, so let's set up a time. And I was like, yes, okay. Set up a time, set up a location. I sent a confirmness. I was like, listen, I must confirm this. I'm not gonna go drive there again just for you not to show up. I said, can I confirm this location? They never emailed me back. 2 days, 3 days, a week later, I don't remember how long it was now. I go on Craigslist. The ad has now said no more cave geckos. So I was like, I'm heartbroken and destroyed at this. And apparently they kept strung me along for a month. Just, oh, this lady wants a cave gecko, let me toy with her emotions for a month. And then I never got it. That was, oh god, last year? Like almost a year ago, I think. It was a long time ago. So then I got all excited. I had posted about it on Instagram. People are asking me, you know, oh, when are you gonna get this new mystery species, blah, blah, blah. I should have known better not to post before I got it, but I was like so excited originally, you know, before I had met up with them and then been bailed on. And so I was left with defeat in telling people on YouTube and on Instagram that I did not get the gecko. And I was sad. And I didn't want to reveal what the species was because I still wanted to get it again. But here's the thing. Cave geckos are pretty much only available from breeders, and I don't support breeding. Like, I don't want to support a breeder, typically. I typically don't ever support them monetarily. So because they typically come from breeders, I don't have any. If I was a person who could just buy from a breeder, like I was okay with that, I would have a cave gecko already and have 2 cave geckos. But I don't like buying from breeders. I don't like supporting breeders most of the time. It's not something I really vibe with. I like to adopt. And so I was like, crap, I have to wait for another cave gecko to come available on Craigslist. And that was the first one I had ever seen. Okay, ever. In my years of keeping reptiles and other species and looking at Craigslist, it was the first one I had ever seen. So I sadly crept back into this depression of not having a cave gecko, right? And I just waited and I scrolled the Craigslist every day, all this time, scrolling the Craigslist. So it's a year later. I have been continuously scrolling Craigslist every single day looking for the cave gecko that is not there. And I typically only check the pet section, so like, you know, you click Craigslist, then community, then pets, because that's where most people would post pets, but some people also post pets in for sale. So if you go to for sale and then search cave gecko or whatever, then those will come up as well, but they'll be in the for sale section instead of the pet section. Why? I don't know. If I was selling a pet, I'd put it in the pet section, but some people don't. So this person who was selling the cave gecko that I currently have right now, because spoiler alert, I have a cave gecko, this person was selling it in the for sale section. I only check that like once a month. So had I not checked it on the exact day that I did, I might have missed the opportunity. So it was, let's see, a week ago now at least. Today is, I don't even know what today is. It was beginning of June, late May that I noticed the ad, let's put it that way. And I noticed the ad in the for sale section. I contacted the person and said, listen, I'm dying to have this cave gecko. And the ad had just been posted that day. And I said, I don't want the enclosure because to be honest, the enclosure was not what I think was completely suitable for a cave gecko. It was okay. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't the best. And so I was like, I don't want the enclosure. It's very expensive, bioactive Exoterra. And I was like, I just want the cave gecko. And I was like, I can come pick it up in Chicago, just the gecko. And they were like, no, I want to try selling the cave gecko and the enclosure together first. Give me 2 weeks to sell them, and if no one bites, no one requests to buy both, then I will sell it to you. And I was like, oh my god, someone is gonna buy it in these 2 weeks. A few days later, I had been doing a live stream, and I brought up a cave gecko and saying like, oh, I probably shouldn't talk about it because it probably won't happen because someone's probably gonna get it before, in that 2 week period. And there was a girl in the comments who was like, oh my god, I was just looking at that cave gecko in the Chicago suburbs. And I was like, yeah, that's the exact same one I'm looking at. And I was like, please don't. And she said, I'm not going to do it. I was like, thank god. So I was like, one person has been diverted, but there's tons of other people that could possibly want a cave gecko. And it comes with an enclosure and everything. So I was like, people are going to buy it. So I had been talking about it in the live stream, and my friend Chris was listening in on the live stream, like a good supportive friend. He hangs out in the live stream and sometimes talks in German to people, and which is like, what you doing? But anyways, he was listening in the live stream, and then he contacted me later and was like, well, your birthday's this month, do you want me to get the cave gecko? And he said, I'll buy it with the enclosure, and that way you can make sure that you get the gecko and it doesn't, get sold with the enclosure before you have the opportunity. And I was literally like, first of all, I was appalled. I was like, no, you may not, and that's too much money, like, for someone to spend on my birthday. And I was like, also, that's driving to Chicago, driving there and back in one day. That's like a lot, for just a birthday present. But he was insistent, and and we've been friends for 7 years. So I was like, if that's something you really want to do, it'll be one of the best presents I've ever gotten. I was like, it's completely up to you. Like, I don't want to say yes or no because I don't want to like make you feel like you're obligated now that you offered. And well, spoiler alert, I have a cave gecko, so he did go and get it. Like a week later, on a Saturday, he met up with this person who I have now contacted and told him that I actually do have the cave gecko. Met them in a Home Depot parking lot, brought the cave gecko home, and now I have a cave gecko and an enclosure that I'm gonna have no idea what to do with. But nonetheless, I have a cave gecko, and it's all thanks to the generosity of my friend Chris. And of course, I have to give him complete and total credit here because I wouldn't have a cave gecko if it wasn't for him. So I'm so excited. I've had my cave gecko home for a few days now. I haven't started calling my cave gecko by a name yet because I wasn't sure how old it was to be sexed or not. And then I asked the person, when was it born? And she said August 8th, 2017, which means that yes, it should be, for all intents and purposes, big enough and old enough to be sexed. Come here, Jackson. No, come back. He just did a roundabout and ran away from me. Jackson Henry. But anyways, yes, so exciting. So basically, because the gecko is old enough and big enough to be sexed, and I checked, I'm pretty sure we have a little lady cave gecko, a little girl. And I am happy to announce that her name is Nymeria. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to pronounce it Nymeria or Nymeria. I'm not sure. I'm gonna look it up and see how it's actually pronounced in Game of Thrones, and then like teach myself to pronounce it that way, but I've been saying Nymeria. It's beautiful. Nymeria is a character in Game of Thrones who is just an absolute badass, just a female warrior. She made basically a whole dynasty. Like, she made the whole House Martell. So if you're familiar with characters like Oberyn, for example, Oberyn Martell, his family came from Nymeria's like strength. That's why Arya names her wolf Nymeria, which is what a lot of people think of when I say that name. They think of Arya's wolf, but if you listen to Arya talk about it, she's actually named after Nymeria. And I'm not sure what her last name was before. I think they just called her Nymeria and then like of wherever she was from. I have not read the books, so that's why I'm not like super well versed. Nymeria was a warrior queen and princess of Rhoynar, if that's how it's pronounced. After the Rhoyne was conquered by Valyria, Nymeria led the Rhoynar to Dorne, where she took Lord Morris Martell as her husband, and House Martell has ruled Dorne since. So as you saw, she saved her people, she took them to a new land, and she made that land hers. She married the man and was like, this is my house now, okay? She is an incredible woman, the warrior queen. That's how she's described. Warrior queen, okay? Must I say more? She's amazing. My cave gecko is not named after the wolf, okay? She's not named after Arya's wolf, although her wolf is cool too. She's actually named after Nymeria of Rhoynar, okay? That's how it's pronounced. Do not come for me, people who love Game of Thrones. I love Game of Thrones too, okay? I'm not good at pronouncing things. So, that is my cave gecko and the story of how I got her. And now I'm just going to include some footage of her because obviously it's nice to see her. But if you want to see more of her, you can go ahead and follow any social media down below, as well as check out a video on this channel. I'm not sure if it's up yet or if it'll be up soon, but if you subscribe, then you'll know when it goes up. Oh, you'll also have to hit notifications because that's the only way to know if I post it. But anyways, if you do those things, then you'll see when I post the video about her enclosure. And right now it's almost complete, so I can't take that footage just yet. But anyways, let me show you some clips of Nymeria. I love her so much. Oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. And she's a great personality for a cave gecko. The first night she was home, she stayed in her old enclosure. The second night she was home, she stayed in a new enclosure. And then the third night was her second night in the new enclosure. And she was already out and about, climbing around, having a good time, doing cool stuff. Like, she wasn't even afraid of me. The entire time I fed every animal in this room, which takes about 2 hours. When I'm fast, it takes me 2 hours. When I'm slow, it takes me 3. So she stared at me the entire 2 hours. I traveled around this room feeding everyone. She didn't run from me. She didn't hide. I opened her enclosure, changed out her food, sprayed it down, and no, not once did she like run away or anything. And I was like, that is insane, because most cave geckos will not come out for pictures. They will mostly hide all the time, and they will definitely not stay out if you're out with them. So I have been extremely fortunate that Nymeria is just a warrior queen, okay? So she's just amazing, and I love her to death, and I'm so happy to share her with you. So I'm going to shut up now and show you guys some footage of her and some pictures, and I hope that you enjoy. Hey guys, this is Editing Jess coming to you, and I thought what I would do is tell you a little bit about my cave gecko in the week. Actually, it's been over a week now that I've had her. For the first few days that Nymeria was here, she did not eat, which is totally normal for geckos or any animals that are like experiencing a new home for the first time. But the really cool thing is she's been eating every single day for the past like 5 days now, so she only took a few days off in the very beginning to not eat. I've learned quite a few things about cave geckos and about Nymeria, so I figured I would share them with you. One thing that I learned is that when I first come in the room and turn the light on, she is very pale, but after she is alerted and she moves around a bit and the light has been on for a while, her coloring becomes darker. It's very, very neat looking. One thing that's very particular to Nymeria, and I mentioned this earlier, is that she likes to poop in her human hide, and that is a behavior that she carried over into her new enclosure because I kept her old human hide but with new eco earth inside of it, and she's been pooping in it, and I open it every night and pick out the poops, and I'm gonna have to clean out the eco earth super often because she just keeps pooping in it, and it's okay. I've never seen a cave gecko, or any gecko for that matter, do that. She has already had a shed, and the tiniest piece was stuck on the tip of her nose, and she actually let me take it off, and I was so surprised. I was like, I'm gonna get bit, she's gonna jump, she's gonna run away. No, none of that happened. I was so stunned. Just last night, Nymeria was sitting in her eco earth hide, and she was looking out at me, and as I opened her enclosure and went inside of it, she didn't run away. In fact, she poked her head out a little bit more. I'm continuously stunned by how I was really anticipating she would be afraid and hide like a lot of cave geckos, but she didn't. While there's still a lot more to learn about her, I'm so thrilled to have that opportunity and that chance. Side note, I checked. Her name is Nymeria. I might just call her Nymeria because I like it better, but I don't know.